Hello everyone, this is Labor Supply Chapter 2 Part 5. In this part now we are going to focus on comparative statistics. So we're going to look at the effect of change in, let's say, non-labor income on hours of work. So I just want to remember myself, that's a C. Let me write it here. Consumption equals to, remember, wage rate, hours of work, plus non-labor income. So labor income is the first part and non-labor income is the second part. So we are trying to have a equation, right, with a leisure in it. So I know that leisure is equal to your total time minus time you devote to hours of work. So rewriting this consumption equation, we have WT, we talked about it in the previous part, plus V, non-labor income, minus W, leisure. Okay, so this is my budget constraint. We also learned about indifference curves. We learned how to find the optimal level of consumption, leisure, and hours of work combinations in the previous part. Now we are going to talk about comparative statistics, the effect of change in. So what happens if V changes? Non-labor income changes, and we're going to assume that leisure is a normal good, and we're going to define what a normal good is. Okay, so we are now in the comparative statistics section. This is one of the main tools we use. Okay, we basically look at how are the choice variables a worker chooses, which is your leisure time, hours, and consumption. You determine it. Also called as endogenous variables affected by exogenous variables in our model. Exogenous variables are those that are given to us. We can't change it. Wage rate, this one. So endogenous variables, choice variables, endogenous, the variables I choose are leisure, hours of work, and consumption. Exogenous or given variables are wage rate, total time you have, and your non-labor income. So we're going to see how changes in the exogenous variables are affecting your choices. All right. So let's analyze the impact of changes in wage rate, total time available, and non-labor income. We're going to start with the non-labor income. That's the easiest one. So you might ask, how can you change total time available to you? You know, we have 24 hours, 164 hours a week. My writing is getting worse and worse. So how can you change that? Well, some of that time goes to sleep, right? So if you, let's say, reduce sleep. I actually had a friend in graduate school and he started sleeping like 3 hours and feeling great. I was like, how do you do this? He said meditation. In my entire life, I tried it. It just doesn't. I have to have my 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So to me, T is unchangeable, but it could be some external things, such as that one. Okay, so let's study the effect of change in non-labor income on hours of work. We are going to assume leisure is a normal good. What is a normal good? Normal good, we are going to now talk about normal and inferior goods. Normal good is a good when income increases, income goes up. So let's say your non-labor income goes up, right? You consume more of it. You consume more leisure. Okay? So normal goods are, for instance, movie theater tickets, tennis shoes, clothing. My income goes up, I'm going to consume more. We also have inferior goods. Inferior goods are goods that as your income goes up, you consume less. So leisure inferior, that means you're richer, you want to work more. It sounds weird, but examples of inferior goods, for instance, ramen noodle. I haven't eaten ramen noodle since 2007. 2007 was the last year I was a full-time student, and I stopped eating ramen noodle because I was eating so much ramen. I mean, those packaged ones, right? Less than $1. I said never again. So that's an example of inferior good. My income went up, I reduced my consumption. So inferiority, normalcy is all about income, not prices. I want to underline this. Another example, my income went up. I am now eating less. You know, I have full-time job, good career. I am eating less. I am eating much less. What am I eating much less? I'm eating much less. Not Starbucks. Subway sandwiches. My income went up. I'm eating much less. McDonald's, $1. They're not $1 anymore, but the cheapest burger, I don't do that anymore. Okay, so let's talk about this example. Leisure is a normal good. So basically, if income goes up, you're going to want to consume more leisure. Okay, so once you realize how it's going to work, so income goes up, you're going to consume more leisure. And we're going to show it in the graph, okay? So you have consumption on the y-axis, hours of leisure on the x-axis, maximum 110 hours. So your endowment point is at $100. That means your non-labor income is $100. Your wage rate is $20. Your total time is $110. Write down the budget constraint. You can stop this video now and try to write down budget constraint given this budget constraint formula. WT plus V, okay, minus WL. How about you pause this video right now and write down the budget constraint in terms of what we know. We know V, we know W, we know T. Okay, we're back. If you haven't done so, we're going to write down the budget constraint. C equals W times T, 20 times 110. So it's going to be 2,200 plus $100, right? That is, I can't write, V minus 20L. So rewriting this, your budget constraint is $2,300 minus 20L. I don't know why this is 20L. Okay, so I'm going to write it down here. Maybe I can write down better. Okay, 2,300 minus 20 times leisure. Okay, I'm going to erase all this here. All right, so this was the initial situation. So if I'm actually putting this budget constraint down, drawing it, right, I am going to put the values. So starting from here, this is my V. Okay, what is F0? F0 is this point. Okay, that is going to be this intercept, 2,300, $2,300. Okay, so that's if you work all waking hours, leisure is 0. And this is 110 leisure maximum. And the slope of this, so whenever you draw something, you need to specify everything. Slope is the negative wage rate, which is negative 20. Let's say non-labor income goes up to $300. This is what we call pure income effect. Okay? So what happens to leisure, hours of work, and consumption? So when non-labor income goes up from 100 to 300, first of all, this endowment point is not here anymore. It's going to shift up somewhere here. Okay, so let's call this E1. So now my budget line is going to shift up parallel to the original budget line. Okay, and if leisure is actually 110 hours, you didn't work at all, you're still going to have $300 to consume. You're in this new budget line. I'm going to actually go over it with a highlighter. You're in this new budget line now. So you're initially, before this non-labor income has gone up, the optimal leisure and consumption combination was at P0, okay? So now you can actually afford a higher indifference curve than U0. You can go up somewhere here. I'm going to jump to higher indifference curve. What is going to happen here? Instead of 2300, this is going to be 2500, the intercept. If you actually worked every single waking hour, 2500, I put one more zero, okay? So then what happens is that because leisure is normal good, we drew such that leisure is going to go up this much and consumption is going to go up. Why? Because our opportunity set, budget constraint, budget line has shifted out. So I'm going to get rid of almost everything. Let's get rid of almost everything. So what happens to leisure, hours of work, consumption? Okay. What happens is that I'm going to get rid of everything. All right. So what happens is that, let me tell you what will happen. We're going to see increase in leisure because it's normal good. Non-labor income went up. Leisure is going to go up. That's why we know income effect is happening. Leisure is normal good. Hours of work has to go down. Consumption goes up too. Okay. So budget line shifts up. You can now move to a 0.1. Again, another indifference curve, higher indifference curve, tangent to the new budget line, F1, E1. So again, we said that this is 2300, right? F0, this is 2500. Okay, so we have now more leisure. As you can see, P0 consumption coordinate is somewhere here. Your consumption went up too from here to here. Okay. Leisure goes up, hours of work goes down, consumption goes up. An increase in non-labor, let's sum it up. An increase in non-labor income leads to a parallel upward shift in the budget line. These are parallel budget lines. So slope didn't change, negative 20 slope, both of them. Moving the worker from point P0 to P1 if leisure is a normal good. So if leisure is normal, you're going to consume more leisure. You're going to have fewer hours of work. Hours of work will fall. And I'll see you in next part where we study when leisure is inferior good.